Here we go then. Oh yes. Oh, the final form, and I'm here to do a Q&A. Please excuse me while I do a little bit of hat fishing in this video because I don't want to be quite this squinty the whole time. This is a momentous occasion, by the way. Following this Q&A, guys, thank you so much for all of your questions. Cheeky cappuccino, don't mind if I do. Would you go for a hair transplant? Absolutely not. In my eyes, I see zero reason for needing a hair transplant. What do you do for a living? This currently is how I make my living, my friend. Did you move back to China? I did move back to China. I moved back there for about 9 months. Some of that was quarantine, some of that was lockdowns, hell on earth. When we were let free, brilliant, really enjoyed being back there. How tall are you? I am 183 centimeters tall, which I believe is a smidge over 6 foot. Dropping a comment and like for the algorithm. Thank you, my brother. What is your current job? What you worked previously? I, my friend, have done a plethora of different jobs, and I am someone who believes in getting a job when you're younger and working a ton of crappy jobs that you hate in order to eventually find out what you like doing, what you're interested in. I sold programs, as in, get your programs, you know, like the little booklets you get when you go to an event. I washed dishes, I was a dish pig, like a vegetable cutter. I worked in McDonald's, I worked in a pro shop and a golf course for a bit. I worked in a bar in a Revolutions in England when I was at university. Cracking fun job that was. Left that, I worked in a blood laboratory, then I worked in a stem cell laboratory, then I became an English teacher in China, then I became a social media guy for someone else's business that flopped. I got sacked from that job and cried when they were sacking me because I thought my life was going to be over. Little did I know that gave me the push to go full-time with this. And I worked on an egg farm, and that was the best job I've ever had, all right, when I was on that egg farm. We're just going to roll through all of these questions. I want to try and get them all done. Weren't you going to attempt a hair system for a bit? I was, man. Listen, I wanted to do the hair system. I wanted to go and see that guy in Turkey who does the incredible hair extensions. I wanted to get a proper comb over cut in. I wanted to do a hair system, but I can't do it all. And my purpose is helping as many guys beat this insecurity once and for all. And a big part of that is steps you can take, and also exposing yourself, being vulnerable. A big part of doing that, of course, is shaving your head, showing the world that you've lost your hair, you've gone bald, you're balding, all the rest of it, getting it out there, and it doesn't become an issue anymore, pretty much. So as fun as that would be, unfortunately, I can't do it this time. Never say never. I was this close, and then the company that I was going to do it for, like an English-based company, all their hair systems are made in China. And I was like, sweet, let me do a mega video. We'll go to the factory, we'll do the behind the scenes, all of this stuff. And they were like, no, you can't tell anyone it's made in China. And I was like, well, obviously I'm not doing the video then, because why would you be embarrassed about that? So unfortunately, mate, I can't do it all. What are your thoughts about SMP? Big, right? SMP industry is absolutely exploding. For some people that might feel right, they might think it looks good and things like that. For me, my deep down opinion, let's be honest, it's another way of concealing that you're losing your hair, that you've gone bald, all the rest of it. And if you're using it in that way to hide, it's not a good thing, mate. If you're using SMP to hide and try to cover up, I don't rate that. I don't agree. Get it out there. If you're going to do SMP, let everyone know that you've had SMP done, and don't ever be ashamed about it. What is the one thing you gain while having long hair? It made me have fun. It's probably the one thing I gained through having this long hair. And also I hope that I've helped others in some way by having this long hair, and that I gain a lot of satisfaction from that. You know, I'll be real with you. So are you trying to grow all your hair back? No, mate. It's dead, mate. Dead and gone. Absolutely dead as. Not happening. Never coming back. Would you ever grow a mullet for fun? 100%, mate. If I wasn't going to do a cool shaving it off video, if I didn't want to share that with the world, you know, we'll get into that in the video, of course, then 100% I would go and see UK's best barber, Dean Gleeson again, who did me the double fade, and I would get him to cut me a sick mullet. You think like faded up, absolute flow in the back, mate. Think how good that would be. One day maybe. I'm a gay man, and think that some men can rock the bald look. I have always wanted to shave my head bald. Will you come to the Barbers? Give me moral support. I'm not sure why you needed. A lot of people feel the need to do that. I'm a gay man. They need to like put a little disclaimer in there, brother. You do you, mate. Probably can't do that right now, mate, but go for it. Could you do an episode on hair and beard alopecia? Yes, well, you know, another form of hair loss, of course, that is pretty common. I did actually have a little bout of alopecia myself in the early days. Behind my ear, huge patch of hair just disappeared. And I think that was stress induced for me. So one day, yeah, maybe we'll get some people on to share their stories there. You shaved your head really early on in the process. What made you decide to shave it when you had so much hair? You skipped over the hair fibers and hats and all that, yeah. How did you know you were gonna lose it all so quickly? Okay, good question, brother. Lovely cappuccino. Let me try and really address these questions. So I shaved it off. I did shave it off very early, mate, because for me, I just already recognized how much this was impacting and ruining my life. And me in my head, I was just so preoccupied with that stupid little bald spot. I just couldn't get it out of my head. I couldn't get it out of my head. And I was like, I need to do something. I've got to do something here, you know, to get this out of my head, get this off my mind. And for me, the end game, I just recognized eventually I'm going to have to confront this. I'm going to have to let the world know and be comfortable with the world and the people and all that, knowing I'm a balding man. How am I going to do that? I'm going to shave my head, and if people ask me why, I'm going to tell them I'm losing my hair and I'm just getting straight to the point, all right? So that's what you need to know about me. Let's make it obvious. And with that sort of end game already there, obviously, you know, I got rid of a lot of that preoccupation and worry and all the rest of it that I talk about all the time. So that's why I did it, mate. I think it honestly doesn't matter how much hair you've got. Once that is in your head of like, oh, I'm losing my hair, and all those insecurities are like just super bubbling up everywhere, right? And a real factor in your life. Yeah, man. It is, you just can't get it out, and I had to deal with it. So that's why I shaved it off early. You say I didn't do the fibers, the hats, but my method of that was the hiding, the sneaking, the, you know, like playing around with my hair all the time and doing all of that stuff. That was my version, mate. It's simple as. It's all the same. It's all the same, all ways to hide and cover. I did those, just not in hat form. How did you know you were going to really lose it all? Oh, so I didn't shave it thinking like, oh, my hair's going to disappear in like 3 years. I honestly didn't know. I didn't know that. But it has gone quick. Head shave video going to break the internet? I hope so, mate. I hope a lot of people are going to enjoy that. Hi, Harry. Young and bold here. Also recently single. Thinking of dating soon. Meeting people. 2 books I recommend for dating. One is Models by Mark Manson. And the other one is by a guy called Coach Corey Wayne. And it's like, what's the title? Something about a 3% man. I can't offer you any better advice than what is already in those 2 books. So read those. How does someone achieve loving themselves and being comfortable with themselves? Really good question, mate. Oh, really good question. You have to know yourself. Okay, that is my biggest advice. So if I ever feel insecure about anything when I'm around people, I always think back to, well, I know what type of guy I am, yeah? I know myself. I know what I'm worth. I feel like I'm worth a lot because I try to, you know, bring value into the world and into the people around me and things like that. And I think you just got to always think back to that. So know thyself. And if you don't know yourself, work on it. And meditate, reflect, block out the distractions, and really get to know who you are. And one thing about this losing your hair stuff, not doing very well with the not squinting here, am I? But one thing with this balding, being confronted with that, it makes you really address who you are rather than who you think you are in this ego-based mindset that I was in before, you know, and a lot of people are. Are Baldcafe hoodies coming back? Yes, mate. Let's bring that classic one back. And I've got so many ideas for little like post-shave clarity or something like that, you know, like when you shave off and you're like, oh, this is fine. Little fun shirts like that we should do. Drop a like if you fancy one of those. And I've got a cool idea for a hat coming soon, mate. because times like this, to be fair, hats are pretty useful, right? If it's not too touchy subject, what was your take on the current political climate in the West? I noticed a big difference when I came back from China, even just this last year, of like, yeah, not good, mate, not good. There's nothing really that makes me love, like, oh, I got to be back in the UK. And that's a nice thing, mate. There's a big world out there, right? Big world. If England's rubbish, plenty of other places, thank God, that I can go to. What's your favourite razor for shaving your head? The Twig razor from Leaf Shave. Shout out to those guys. Do you prefer your current long hair or your head shave? You know, if I had to come down to it, obviously I do prefer having the shaved head. Number one reason, the worst thing about this hair now is my bathroom gets destroyed, mate, like every day. And the hair just is everywhere, accumulates everywhere, and obviously I have to put all that spray in to do me little like back knot and stuff like that, and so you don't have to do any of that with the shaved head, right? So definitely prefer the shaved head, but both have been fun. The hair on my crown is almost completely gone. Your videos gave me the courage to shave off my hair. Yes, mate. The problem is that my crown area is shiny compared to other parts. I'm considering SMP. Do you think it's a good idea? Blah, blah, blah. No, mate. No, listen. You have gone from worrying about the balding hair on the crown, now you're worrying if it's too shiny or, you know, this, that. Mate, you've got to just get out there with these imperfections and live your life, and you've got to show yourself that it is not going to impact your life. The thing that is impacting your life is your worrying and preoccupation with it. Get out there, work, enjoy yourself, hobbies, friends, socialise, get to doing things that you love, and just live your life with these things that you feel are imperfections, or what's this person going to think, what's that person going to think. And when you're in that situation and no one says anything, mate, you're like, oh, actually, maybe I don't need to worry about this shiny crown. So no, mate, you don't need to cover it up with anything. Do you wonder what your life would be like if you hadn't lost your hair? Do you feel like you've missed opportunities because of your hair loss? Is acting career something you would like to pursue? No. Listen, I have not. If I hadn't have lost my hair, okay, I would probably still be in China, still probably doing the English teaching thing, like pushing 30, thinking like, oh God, like, what am I doing? Like, is this really what I'm just going to do for the rest of my life? Because I'm someone that likes to, you know, try new things, do new things. But I would have just got comfortable there, carried on doing that. No disrespect to people that do that, but I knew going into that I didn't want to do this forever. It was just like a thing to do it for a few years or whatever, right? And being like, yeah, let's be real, being a different kind of guy out in China, right? You stick out like a sore thumb and you get a lot of attention for that because you look different. And my whole sense of self was based on these like meaningless compliments that I used to get. And I had a inflated sense of ego, you know. It was all about that, like baseless stuff. No one was like, oh, Harry, like you've actually done something good and like helpful with your life. They were just like, oh, look at that foreigner. And I was like, oh wow, mate. I'd still be like that, clueless, no sense of self, no sense of real like appreciating who I am, what I'm trying to be. So no. And with the acting, this is kind of like, not acting, but I'm on camera doing this, you know, so the hair loss gave me that opportunity as well. And honestly, the stuff that this, Baldcafe, the hair, whatever, is giving me, so much value just in life, like valuable life experience. But obviously, I have made it into that. Like, I've taken, I guess, what you could see as a negative, and I've really tried to build something from that. And I suggest everyone tries to do that with all hardships in life, because let me tell you, without getting too deep on it, right, other things are going to come up, and they have for me, that are actually harder to deal with than losing your hair. But these things, each challenge sort of prepares you and strengthens you for the next one. I really believe that. How are you able to get out of your comfort zone with growing the hair? I've been bald, can't do it. Slowly, catchy monkey, mate. I first went 3 days. No, don't like this. Then I went 5 days. No, 7 days. Then I did a month. And then this time, obviously, it helped me because I had the fitness challenge to keep me going. And then it just became so normal because I did it for so long. And then your comfort zone, look how huge your comfort zone is if you get to that point compared to 3 days. So just do it slowly. Take slow steps. In your opinion, is it always better to grow a beard if you shave your head? Not really. Most guys do, I think, because they can, essentially. I was super worried about my beard when I was even like 24, 25. I was like, no, come on, please. And into my 30s, my beard just got stronger and stronger. So try not to freak out too much if you're young, you know, in your 20s and you're thinking, I've got zero beard here. A little bit of shadow, a little bit of anything, a little bit of chin. All good, but definitely not a necessity. It's just a different look, you know? I've talked about this before. If you want the more rugged, add the beard. If you want the corporate, clean it off, baby. Clean shave. Like for the Asian dudes out there and stuff, the clean shave, the shaved hair is absolute sick look. How much have other people enjoyed your long hair, family and whatnot? To be honest, most people that don't get it, they're like, oh mate, what's going on with the hair? Especially recently when I've caught up with a lot of old friends recently and they're like, what is going on? And I've had a few comments from like the lads, to be fair. Those are the ones who have been more like, mate, let's go out or something, but you know, maybe take care of the hair or something like that. So that's been funny, but you know, I've just been doing my thing, waiting for this moment. Most people, honestly, in general, especially strangers and that, don't really say anything. And one lad I met, I think he was from like Iran or something. We're playing football. He was like, mate, he was like playing football back in China. He was like, mate, I love the hair. And I was like, yes, that was funny. Does having facial hair make you stand out less in a room full of people? No, I don't think it makes you stand out less. But I think it's good to stand out in a room full of people. It's good to stand out, mate, and be different. Oh, first time you've grown a beard? Mate, just enjoy it. Play around with it. See how you feel with different styles. Have a play. See what suits you best. What is your favourite beard style that you've had? Honestly, the big beard. The big beard is just fun. I feel like really, when I've got the big beard. That's the one I enjoy the most. Except, especially from the side angle, like proper, especially, you know, first time when I was out in Thailand, early days of Baldcafe. I loved that look. That's got to be my favourite. Will I be releasing a book? I'm going to keep you guessing on that one. Sorry. If you could have any celebrity hairstyle for a week, what would you go for? Maybe like epic long hair like that Jason Momoa, just to maybe see what that feels like. Give us the greatest piece of advice around growing a beard based on your personal experience. Just wait, just don't touch it. Just go for like 7-8 months, don't touch it. Let it be bushy, let it be outrageous, and then you can refine it. Don't be constantly trimming and pruning and worrying. Just go from clean shaved and just don't touch it. Just let it grow everywhere. Bit of neck, bit of whatever, it's fine. Just let the thing grow. And beards get better as you age. That's something where you can look forward to. Right, I've been yabbing on. Let's go through some of these rapid pace. Long-term future for Baldcafe. Long-term goals is to produce a TV show. Do you think about developing a proper channel about daily life in China, things like that? No, not China, but I would like to add traveling into the mix of what we do here already, because I really enjoy making videos and I want to just start to be documenting bits around the world and things like that. Maybe more things about facing your fears, stuff like that. Harry, I'd love to hear you talk about guys improving other areas of their life, hygiene, hobbies, things like that. Yeah, man. It all comes together, right? And what I'm going to repeat this again, but one thing you've got to look at this with when you think, oh, damn, if you think, you know, and you really believe, right, I'm down a few points now on the hair scale, that is your energy for upping other things that you've previously neglected because maybe you got by on them, yeah? Maybe you thought, sweet hair, I look all right, so I don't need to really be that intelligent. Or like me, like I'd never read a book, mate, before I was like early 20s, which is pathetic, right? But I didn't value that sort of stuff then because I was getting by in life. And eventually things will come, they happen, and it will challenge you, right? And then you think, oh no, like I need to be more developed all around. So I think, you know, to be fair to guys, I think a lot of this stuff happens naturally in life. You know, the more challenges that you have and you face, hair loss being one of them, of course, you know, organically, I think, use it again as an opportunity to look in and think, right, what else can I develop? If you're going to do anything, if you do one thing, get in better shape, get yourself in the gym or get yourself exercising or pick up a hobby that involves exercising. Probably biggest bang for your buck is just getting better in shape. Look better in clothes, all of it, right? Get in shape. Just want to thank you for your channel. Thank you, mate. I really appreciate that. Have you become confident with yourself, things like that? I have, you know, in general, yes. The only thing, and I'll be totally honest with you, the only thing that I do think sometimes is I do wonder, not in a way that's going to make me like desperately, like stop me from doing anything or whatever, anything like that, no, but I do sometimes wonder, you know, if someone was to see me out like this, I wonder if what they're thinking in terms of like, does he think that hairstyle looks good, or does he know he's losing his hair, or like why doesn't he shave it off, or you know, like, why doesn't he do this, why doesn't he do that? Sometimes I do wonder like what other people think is going on, you know, like why is that guy rocking that hairstyle, because it's pretty wild, right? You don't often see it. So sometimes I do wonder that. That's the biggest thing, really. How has your personal perspective on hair loss changed from when you started the channel? The number one change that has happened is when I first started, because I was still exploring all of these things for myself, a lot of my content just revolved around, and this is unfortunate because a lot of people think it still does sometimes, revolved around just the head shave. Shave the head and that is it, right? That's the thing, that's the thing. But again, the head shave is just one tool. It's just one thing that you can do that achieves the same outcome in sense of just, you've got to stop hiding. To get over this, you have to stop hiding. And obviously the head shave is just the big, like, it's like the statement that is, I'm not hiding anymore, you know? And so you can't just think like, oh, all right, I'll just shave my head and then I'm gonna feel great, you know, without digesting it a little bit more and thinking about why it works. But listen, I've got a lot of content coming about that. You've got to understand why it works. Do you think shaving your head is the only option? Can people consider medical therapy? No, mate, shaving your head is not the only option, but again, it just all comes to not hiding. So if you're taking all the meds, doing all this, that, to just hide and run and be like, no, I'm not balding, like I can stop this, it's never, mate, it's not like that. You're just doing things to basically look like you're not balding. And as long as you're comfortable with that reality, fine, right? You can have a sweet life and not worry about it. But before you address what's really going on and accept that you're balding now, you know, it's always going to be an issue. You know, it's always going to be lingering somewhere in the worry sphere of your mind. So it's just all about not hiding. What are my hobbies outside of YouTube and fitness? Love camera gear and making videos, you know, I just love filming videos. I love like cinematics, different lenses and stuff like that. I love a bit of that. And travel. I really want to do more traveling, maybe go back to Japan, do some other bits like that, Thailand. Love to know about teaching English in China. Great thing, one of the best things I've ever done. Didn't know anyone, couldn't speak the language, and I just went for it. I was like, I've got nothing to lose at 20 whatever. I was like, no responsibilities essentially. It's now or never, you know, push myself, get out of my comfort zone. Amazing, honestly, amazing. How hard was growing out your hair? On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give it a 5. And with that, my friends, that is the end of the Q&A. I tried to get to all of your questions, the 200k Q&A, I guess we'll call it. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed that. I know it was quite fast paced. We got through it with the cappuccino even. I'm buzzing, mate. It's in the sun. Buzzing, absolutely buzzing. And I'm literally about to stop this recording and go and do something epic. This has been such a long time coming and I can't wait, and I think I might get a little bit emotional. Hopefully I'll be able to hold it together. I'll see you I'm sure, in that video. Cheers, boys.